That it started to record.
Test.
And we are live.
Testing.
Right here in Chandler, Arizona. Me, Karl Goldthorpe, here with the big hung gorilla, Andy Chung.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Andy, when did you realize that metaphorically you were hung like a gorilla?
It's not a metaphor, man. This is literal as fuck.
You lived that life.
Yeah. When I walked out of the womb, I was like, damn, this thing is hanging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the first thing noted. If you see his birth certificate, there's a little note section they had in the bottom at the hospital in Maryland where he was born, and it says, very hung. There's a little space for it, but hey, the doctor had to make note of that, or the obstetrician. I forgot what they call the person who delivers the baby.
Keep an eye on this guy.
Make sure you keep him away from the kids.
He's either going to be super awesome or he's going to be hunted.
It's the only extremes. There is no middle ground.
Either in or you're out. Once the cat's out of the bag, you're fucked.
You realized that life and you knew it, you were set. So, yeah, I've, about sometime, I believe it was a summer probably. Last summer was the first time I met you or something. Through Improv Mania, probably over there. Either that or going one of the other mics and such. And, yeah, obviously Improv Mania has changed over time, whether it be the way the sign-up happens or people that show up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that change in terms of signing up.
Some cancelings, but only cancelings on Thursday nights.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, canceling at open mics, bro.
Well, that's why I say it's just a Thursday night canceling.
Yeah. I remember, man, back in the last year, it was like we were hanging outside waiting in line, like we were at like an after school like field trip or something. Just hanging out in the sun.
Oh, what we were doing? Yeah, just like waiting out there.
Yeah. Like we had like I felt like I don't know, we were just like sitting in the sun, just waiting, man.
Get into some general admission concert. Because you want to be in the front of the festival. Yeah. I want to be on the rail. I want to headbang. Says every broad ever. Basic broad who goes to those festivals. I've never been to one of those. I've considered it. But I guess in my mind, it's very expensive. And two, I mean, it's not my crowd. I can spend money elsewhere. I'd rather spend it doing either going to sporting events or going to comedy events.
Yeah. I have not done a big festival either. I kind of hope that I could maybe try an EDM festival one time before it goes out of style. You know, I haven't done it before, so I have no idea what's going on.
Would you be willing to catch it when it's on the decline and it's probably very cheap?
Yeah, I'll wait until it's like glam metal.
Oh, this could be perfect. I could see Andy's gonna go to Electric Daisy Carnival the year before they go bankrupt. Yeah. He's gonna go to the last one.
Like when it's all mom and poppy.
It'll be just like the original Vans World Tour. Now it costs probably, I don't know how much to get in, but I heard it used to be under $50. And it's like, yeah, for a festival, that's actually pretty decent.
It sounds really great, man.
Yeah, and I mean they do the other ones out here. I think they have that one festival set up for spring training, but spring training's not going to happen. So.
Oh man.
But I think they're still doing the concert thing because it's separate. Obviously, they just coincide it with it.
Do you know who's going to be at the concert? What kind of concert?
I think it's like the general, like that like the rock kind of group and stuff. Obviously, if you kind of tailor it to like spring training down here, baseball spring training, it's probably the type of demographic that goes to it, which is white people in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
That is the big crowd. Anytime I walk into any type of baseball crowd, I automatically bring down the average age in attendance. Yeah. It just happens that way.
That's your sole purpose.
It is. Well, I learned that from when I interned at this place that's at the downtown ASU campus, the Society of American Baseball Research, and there was only one other young guy in it. Well, I mean there was one other kind of Jason. He was like in his 30s.
Jason.
But like his mid 30s.
You guys be friends or something now?
Yeah. Well, there was one who was an actual graduate. His name was Blaine, and so he was like 25. He's like, yeah, I go into any of these members meetings. It's like I'm automatically the youngest by at least a few decades. He's like, why not go into it? It was like, I got to Snapchat my Pokemon Go. Like, mess with the old people with the lingo.
A lot of Pokemon here, actually. Who's not catching it? Okay.
You take their phone and start doing Pokemon Go and set up all push notifications. Just bombard them. Honestly, that's the best way to mess with an old person. Like, just go into the settings of their phone and mess around with it.
That'd be fun.
Especially if you change the language. Oh my God, if you change it to like Hebrew on something, like if you ever want to mess with it in your family, change it to Hebrew.
I've done that before. Not Hebrew, but Chinese.
Chinese. What, like Mandarin or Cantonese?
Yeah, I tried to pretend like I had a flip phone in China or something. It was cool, yeah.
I would like to go to China, but I feel the amount of times I've bashed China, they wouldn't want me in there. The National Security Agency would probably. Maybe I can get through. I don't know. They'd be spying on me. I'd be willing to tell them up front. I have many anti-Chinese China sentiments, but I will put them at the door to come into the country.
Yeah, I think that really is how you would have to do it.
Yeah, well, it's like, and I'll be up front. I know you're gonna spy on me, so let's just make it clear while this is going. Well, because obviously there's like the sights to see in China, and well, I don't know how I'd get in contact with the one Chinese exchange student I befriended my junior. Well, I befriended two, but more the one my junior year, because I hung out with him a lot in my money and banking class. He was that very typical. He was very into the Supreme brand, wearing it. Like, he had it on his phone. He had, like, shirt stuff, like, even his pants. Like, he'd have a hat.
That's definitely, like, a Chinese
He was always wearing one Supreme item. And I remember asking him about it, and his eyes lit up just asking about it. So, yeah, he was I guess you could say the hype beast type.
Yeah, like, I think that's even more than, like, Japanese or Korean. Like, Chinese is, like, Supreme, Supreme, Supreme.
Yeah, well, because it's kind of like the brand thing, kind of how you... I guess, like, look out to others comparable to, like, our Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously because as they've gotten a higher standard of living, their expectations are going to get higher. Now they're not going to accept being mostly agricultural and living in a place with no electricity. It's like, now they're probably the more advanced technology.
Yeah, man. Haven't been.
You haven't been yet? Were there any cities you'd like to go to? Because I know some places I'd try to go to.
I mean, I actually don't really have any plans to go visit China.
Hell yeah.
Unless, I wouldn't want to do it. Definitely not, like, if I ever get famous or something like that, then maybe. But, like, I don't want to be, like, trying to get sweet hookups, and that's how I get clout or something. Like, it's because I go to China.
You're not going to do the John Cena thing of trying to do work on their part.
Yeah, like, I'm not trying to do some diplomatic stuff to gain followers on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, but I guess it's like, even if it's just like a touristy vacation kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Because my thought in my head was go to the Sichuan region, because that's where they have the pandas. That's where they live.
Yeah.
So they have, and I've seen the videos on YouTube of the big, I guess it's like a conservation, not exactly like a zoo, because it's only just for the pandas they have.
I don't know. Yeah, Instagram, they show videos of them like rolling and falling all the time.
Or if you find YouTube where the baby pandas are always grabbing the zookeeper and they just latch onto the bottom, these crazy bastards, and the zookeepers have to like pick them up, like sweep the place, and then about 30 seconds later the panda's gonna grab them again. And it's like,
yeah, China, you gotta keep those pandas, man.
I feel like in that case, you gotta have someone to distract all the baby pandas.
Uh-huh.
You gotta have someone for the baby pandas just to go after, which I feel would be the more desirable job, okay? Would you rather sweep or just keep the baby pandas coming towards you, just grabbing at your leg? Because obviously an adult panda, they just know it's like, whatever. I
would be like that. I don't know, if there's a job where you get to like take a broomstick and broom all the pandas to one corner.
So you want to shepherd them into one corner.
Yeah, with a broomstick. And they'll just like roll around like, oh shit, what is going on?
Messing with baby pandas. I don't know, at that point, I think they just need you to keep it temporary distractive. You don't need to hypnotize them, Andy.
Yeah.
So that was one thing in my head. I guess that's more of like a unique thing. Because have you ever, like the giant panda exhibits that have been in the U.S., have you ever seen them?
No, I don't recall seeing the panda in my life.
I know it's like, I think it's DC, or no, DC doesn't have theirs anymore. They did have San Diego, but that was a loan. Like all the pandas China gives out, they're all loans.
Have you been to DC before?
I did, yeah. That was one place I went with, because my dad, I think this is what I've talked to you somewhat about, like Maryland and stuff, how through my dad, because he's from Bethesda, Maryland and stuff, and because that's kind of closer to DC, we'd like go to DC and then go to like
we had to have talked about that.
Possibly some. Well, it's because I was trying to like learn about the area because I didn't know much about it. I got kind of an impression from it because last time I went, I believe I was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nice place. Don't get me wrong. It's just we went in July, and that humidity is not fun to deal with.
Oh yeah. But I don't know, man. Like DC that was fun because, like, you know, I'm from Maryland. DC was summertime. We go see the museums and
all the Smithsonian. Those are definitely cool.
The Japanese flower trees. I forget what we call them, like the cherry blossom.
The trees. Cherry blossom. The ones the set up like near the Jefferson Memorial, like kind of along there. Oh yes. Oh, those are very nice there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot if that's because that's able to work there because of, I guess, the climate to DC is comparable to some places in Japan where the cherry blossoms grow.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was just like Japan gave them a gift of trees.
Lots of gifts. And see, that stuck around. It's not like the pandas that they gave to Nixon to the National Zoo in DC, and those ended up dying, okay?
Oh, man.
All right, these live, damn it.
Yeah, it's really cool how the trees are still alive. Because I guess they're supposed to be like native to Japan. It was like, but they're chilling in DC. They've been there for a long time, I guess. Unless they keep giving new ones every year and they don't tell you about it.
Well, I mean, I think people can buy the seeds. I think Japan you can probably.
But that's like a good gift. Here's some seeds. I don't know if they give them as seeds or whatever, but it's like, here's some trees.
Maybe it was like some planting, like a diplomatic gift. You were kind of saying.
Yeah, it's like a Statue of Liberty type of thing with the
That's
French.
how the.
Right.
That's how
I don't know what the ulterior motive here is, but it's cool.
Maybe that was reconciling after the whole bombing.
Yeah, something was like
after Pearl Harbor and then dropping the atomic bombs. It's like, all right, let's find a way to make up.
I would have been fine with a few Hello Kitty stickers, but man, trees are cool too.
God damn it! It's like, all right, this will do. I guess this is something more people will enjoy. Yeah. We wanted something more unique. Was Hello Kitty even around then after World War II? We got to find the origins of Hello Kitty.
A lot of things happened after World War II.
Dude, the Hello Kitty stuff was crazy.
If it didn't exist then, it was in the process. All right, it was all to be fate.
Whoever created it, they were alive then. It was in their mind, ready to create Hello Kitty.
What if there was like a lost Hello Kitty episode, just like in the same way in Looney Tunes they have like World War II, like Hitler shit?
Is this gonna be like one of those like banned episodes because it's very racist and we find that Hello Kitty was doing a blackface?
Yeah, or we just can't tell if it's racist or not, but like, you know, like, or like
it's gonna
try to dip their toes in that situation.
It's gonna be the original Hello Kitty, but they try to give it. Well, Japanese people don't really have the small eyes. That's the thing I realized. They actually have bigger eyes.
I don't know.
Like, because I was saying it's like the stereotype with small eyes, but it's like, wait, I've seen Japanese. They have big eyes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't been to Japan either, so.
That would be cool to go to though. There, I mean, I would hate to go there obviously when it's super cold. But
I don't know if I have actually any like straight full Japanese friends.
I just have one. Yeah, I saw him around the time of the Super Bowl because he usually comes around this because he was like an assistant for ASU baseball and stuff because he did like baseball for his university in Japan, but now he's like stopped doing it, but he comes back a lot because he has like good relations, and he's someone I kind of like to bring up stuff with Japan, like what I know, such as when that Nissan CEO Carlos Ghosn got snuck out through a music case.
What?
Yeah, they had to sneak him out because he was on house arrest, and so he had to get out of the country.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some stuff against him was legitimate. Maybe some stuff wasn't because Japan, they were kind of upset that this company had raised up what they were, but not with a full Japanese CEO.
What happened? Why was he in trouble?
Oh, I guess it was stuff with the company. Like, it could have been considered not, like, reporting certain earnings. Like, I don't know if it was, like, avoiding taxes, but it could have been, like, fraud or stuff like that involved. I mean, who knows what
that's one of those stupid, not stupid, but, like, Like when famous people, like you think you got all your bases covered, but then all of a sudden you're like tax fraud. Like you gotta pay your taxes, I guess, because in 10 years or whatever, if you get famous, you don't want to have that stupid CNN article saying that you forgot to pay your taxes. And then people look at you like a criminal. Pay your taxes, I guess. I don't know, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's no,
while you're young.
because obviously it's not the best system how the IRS collects it. Like, if you probably didn't pay your taxes for 1 year, you could probably get away with it. It's just after probably 3 to 5 years, they're gonna find out by then. Yeah. After that time, they know. At that time, like, there's no doubt someone there hasn't checked you at that point.
Yeah.
I think it was in Mesa. I saw somewhere where they had the revenue, like the state revenue center, since that's like, I guess, the state's form of the IRS. And then next to it was the motor vehicle division for the Department of, or what is it, Department of Transportation here? Yeah, ADOT. Yeah. And it was like, oh, it's the most efficient government agency next to the least efficient government agency. Just how it is. Because, hey, if you don't pay the government's money, they don't give a shit who you are at that point. They will come for you. They will bring guns up to your head. That is the one thing they will go after you here.
Yeah, haven't you seen Pineapple Express?
Yeah.
They'll do it.
Haven't you learned with cartels, you do not mess with their money supply. When you do, that's when they try to screw you.
Yeah. You're a fucking pawn. They want your money.
Exactly. But it's also, I guess, the easy way to arrest someone and get public sentiment in the government's favor for going after them.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you go after them, it's like, oh, is this just the government being corrupt? But then if you hear it's like unpaid taxes, like, you are a horrible person.
I feel like if there's one like little scammy thing that I would want to get in trouble with, it would probably be tax fraud. That seems to be very mild, I would say. Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you can pay back the amount and with interest, that's the only thing about it.
Well, yeah, but it's a nice and boring little thing to get in trouble with.
It's a nice white-collar crime to get involved.
Yeah, it's not like passing out with hookers and cocaine in a hotel.
I don't know if depending
cheating on your wife.
Well, if you wouldn't be able to pay back the unpaid taxes and whatever the interest would be, I feel like maybe being caught with the hookers and cocaine would be better because there'd be less jail time.
The tax fraud?
Well, if you can't pay back whatever you owe for the tax fraud.
Man.
If you can, though, then, take that any day, because then they won't care. If you can pay back whatever that and the penalty, they don't give a shit at that point.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Them with the money.
Can you go to jail for life, depending on how much taxes you haven't paid? I want to know.
I don't think,
because I want to go to jail.
I don't think you can go just on that, but there's probably a bunch of adjacent things you can get charged with, like a lot of fraud or like wire fraud or money laundering in ways which probably could get you a life sentence. Then maybe there's some adjacent charges you can get that'll get you in trouble. It depends how are you planning to scam people, Andy? How would Andy scam people if he could?
I don't know, man. Well, no, I don't know. The tax fraud thing seems pretty cool. Like, just
so you're just gonna do it with money. All right, you expect to make a boatload of money, and you're gonna somehow divert.
I don't want to scam. I just want to not.
So you just don't want to pay. All right. So you just want to not pay. Okay. So Andy's gonna open up the Andy Chung Foundation for dog AIDS. Andy will use this as a front for his tax deference scheme.
Yeah, just like all those mattress stores.
Now, because this is a 501c3, this is tax deductible income. And Andy only has people next to Andy that will pay Andy the money so he doesn't have to pay it in taxes.
I got a team, bro.
Now, if Andy is actually helping any research with dog AIDS, that is anyone's guess. We do not know what goes on at Andy Chung's foundation.
Yeah, I'm going to keep that shit a secret, man.
Why are you using these dog AIDS as a front for your tax deference scheme, Andy?
That's a loaded question, sir.
This isn't a court of law.
Why don't you turn that camera off?
This is for a disposition.
We're trying to help dogs. Okay?
This is for the disposition hearing. Now, Andy, why did you murder Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman and frame it on OJ?
Oh, God. It was all is dogs. We're trying to save dogs here, okay?
And he likes dogs.
Do not affiliate with humans. Straight dog shit. Okay.
Straight dogs. Exactly with it. People, if you're not down for the canine right away and in its full glory, then you don't deserve it.
Man, that's some good practice. What we just did. It's like preparing how to deal with like stupid reporters. Man, that was cool.
Well, I feel like
That's
when
some
you
good
have to deal
training.
with a stupid reporter, you then just start talking about non-related stuff. Or honestly, it doesn't even have to be a reporter. If it's someone you don't want to talk to, but they just keep talking to you, just have non-related. Well, you could do that as well. I'm just thinking, give completely non-related responses and just see how they respond.
Yeah, so you gotta do like something like along the lines of "I like sea turtles,"
Yeah,
and then make that a brand new meme.
Do the
Something
I like
like that.
turtles.
Yeah.
Or if it's like, how do you think the affair is going? It's like, well, you got to make sure you put the boiled water on a medium high before you put the pasta in, and then I'll just jump to that. Then talking about the different designs I've seen in caterpillars, their like outer shells, and then from that I move on to like an oil change to different levels of, I guess, content, whether it be the ethanol content or biofuel in it. It's anything. Just keep diverting one subject, just non sequiturs completely. Non sequitur responses that make no sense.
Or just like quote like from like Discovery Channel, like the bluebird likes to suck sap from the tree.
To quote a famous man who was vice president, this job ain't worth a warm bucket of piss.
Karl, you okay?
Oh, I'm
Yes,
totally
I
good.
am.
I am totally fine, Mr. Chung. Oh yeah, I forgot. We have our law firm. We have Chung and Goldthorpe. We're the Valley's most agitated and angry lawyers going up.
Put Goldthorpe first. We needed that gold part.
Oh, so I get to do the opening statement.
Yeah.
It's like, a wise man once said, the wheels of history turn. What was it about? Like history, like the wheels of history move with the blood of people or something.
I don't know.
It was something a Mussolini quote, and then they paraphrased it into an Office episode for something for Dwight to say.
What does Thorpe mean? Do you know? Like Goldthorpe?
Not exactly. So
I mean,
what I
gold
found
means
with
gold,
the last name, so there's a town in, I think it's like Yorkshire, England, which is called Goldthorpe, like a small one. It's near also this bigger town, Barnsley. Mm-hmm. But from what I found from my family's history, at least the ones that first came to America, maybe some very distant past they had been in England and from that area, but the ones that came to the U.S. were like from Scotland. So
Karl.
the ones at least with the Goldthorpe name.
Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, I guess it wouldn't be
I
recognized.
thought you were Jewish, and then you said you were from like England.
The Jews of my family were the ones from Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, what?
My Jewish friends growing up were like Solomon and something like that. I never.
Well, I guess that'd be through their mother's
these,
side, and they'd be more
Goldthorpes
observant.
and fine silvers.
Because, well, it probably less of mine, since mine is more the dad's side, and it's not. Well, actually, it still would be, but it's not like rabbinically more. It's more like religiously. But rabbinically, Jewish is more like ethnically, racially, and religiously, and also to be observant Jews and stuff.
Like the whole thing.
Like most,
So you're just
because it's
religious
like it's
or-
required for your mother to be. Although your mother just has to be that by the time you have, like, let's say your bat mitzvah or bar mitzvah.
So wait, it doesn't matter what the dad is. If your mom is Jewish, then that makes you Jewish. Is that what you're saying?
By rabbinical law, yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, through your parents, like, you're still like religiously, like, through them, and still, it's just it's not rabbinically recognized. Like, I couldn't go back to. I don't have the proof to go back to Israel and get an automatic citizenship there.
Or because your mom's not Jewish, or
Because it's not from her side. Because
So
it was
your
from
dad's
my
side.
yeah.
that's like that's strangely
Even though
anti-patriarchal.
what's weird is my mom's last name. When we did look up the etymology, it did say Ashkenazi Jew. So maybe there were ones in that distant past. It was just my grandmother's more. That was the Swedish and dirty Irish side. Dirty. Hey, because here was the big difference between the Swedish and Irish ones that came over here, because they came about the same time. The Swedish ones had all their papers, everything like showed where they like started and arrived and stuff. We don't know where the hell the Irish ones in our family came from. What the hell they did? Okay, these people do not know how to be organized.
Are you talking about Irish Jews, or are you just talking about
Irish people in general? Oh yeah, because that was the Cleary Callahan side of my family, the one with my grandmother, the alcoholic. So she was. Sure. That's how you know she was true Irish. She was the first generation American in her family. Yeah. Her mother was the dirty Irish woman. She came over here to this country from wherever it was in Londonderry.
That's pretty good.
I sound like an Irish woman. Have I ever told you how the president of Ireland, he looks like Larry David if you shrunk him?
Larry David does kind of look Irishy.
Yeah, but like the president of Ireland.
I don't know the president of Ireland.
I'm going to say like Michael D. Higgins. And we'll put a picture of Michael D. Higgins up, but let me see if I can get him on the screen to show. Yeah. Michael...
It's the guy who plays the Irish guy in Braveheart. Is that what we're dealing with here?
Could be.
Here, actually, he looks nothing like Larry.
Let's go broadcast his message that he gave. Here, we'll just skip it in. His Christmas and New Year's message from President Michael D. Higgins.
A YouTuber.
Yeah, we don't care what you're dirty. Does he not? Goddamn.
Well, he looks like what Larry David's going to look like in another 15, 20 years.
I don't know if I can find like a full view picture of him, but he's like a short guy.
This is getting so European, this podcast.
See that guy back? See? Short man. We are... Michael D. Higgins. Larry David if he in Ireland.
Would you ever do the Edinburgh Fringe Fest? Have you heard about that?
I have not heard about that. The one in Scotland.
Why am I saying Fringe? Right? I don't know. Like, you know, like they have like the comedy stuff.
I don't know too much about the European comedy stuff. I've wanted to kind of learn about it. Really, the only international one I've learned about is like the ones they hold in Canada. Like
Just for Laughs?
Yeah. The Montreal one. And I know Toronto holds one, though I can't remember the exact name of it.
Yeah, I forget which cities do what. But
yeah, well, I feel like every big, like very big metro city will do one. Like I found even the San Francisco Bay Area has one.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I think, at least when I looked up for like the sign up thing, it had already cut off by the time I looked for it. So it's like, whatever. It's... But I mean, I think that would be that's like a really good way, let's say, to put yourself out there in front of other people and such, because there's always going to, let's say, so like some talent scouts, talent agencies trying to find someone who's like new on the scene or they haven't heard of as much, and obviously even just to network. But that may not happen the first time going there. It may take sometimes going there just to put yourself out there and get yourself known.
And if you ever do like those kinds of places, man, you gotta make sure you got your shit ready.
Oh yeah, like
if you lost those opportunities to network. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, then it makes you like look bad or network after. Right after you've done it. I mean, talk a little with other people beforehand.
You just have like the worst set of all time, and then you try to network afterwards like you were hot shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it ends up like when you bring a date to the open mic and you end up bombing, and she ends up leaving during your set because of how bad it is.
It's like it's worse than if you ever even asked her out in the first place. It's like, I know, I hate you.
It's like, oh,
I will actively avoid you now.
Now you know they aren't funny.
I'm moving cities now.
They get entrenched like, oh, I'm a comedian, and then they just bomb, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
They question everything.
You were better off getting stood up, man, at a Circle. Oh, yeah.
Getting stood up at a Circle K by some bitch named Nancy with a few missing teeth. And she comes up, talk to you, just like I remember that one lady at JP's when I went outside, the one that was talking to, was it David, I think? And all I heard her talking about was using pronouns in dating app profiles.
What's your pronoun, Carl?
He, him, and Batmobile.
Nice. Yeah.
So you must refer to one of the three.
Okay, Batmobile.
Hell yeah.
I always have a hard time saying mobile.
I know with my job, like the kind of like the, I guess the signature at the bottom, how it like shows like the person and like their position and stuff, and they allow you to put pronouns. And I've been very tempted to do the he, him, Batmobile thing.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
You must accept my pronouns. I thought this was an accepting company, goddammit.
See, you have the attitude of someone who wants to do it so bad but doesn't. Just do it, Carl. Put that Batmobile in there, man.
I feel it'd be more worth doing it if I move up in position first, and then
no one will be able to say shit. That's the whole point of the pronouns, is because so people won't be able to,
You could still call me he, him.
Wait, what was the third thing for? It's like
I guess it's more of like a group possessive. Like a singular possessive, and then like
It never happened when there was just like male and female. It was just they.
Well, you know what? It's stupid people hear it. I'm sorry. They come from where I'm from. It's horrible. It's disgusting.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm 30 years old.
Well, they like to think of, and I found it. There's like a graph for it. It's called the gender, the gender gingerbread man. And what they show is like a gingerbread man, a graph of him, and they try to tell you like the difference between like your sex, your gender, like your sexual identity, like all that stuff.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, these are crazy people from where I'm from, all right?
I just heard okay. Yeah.
Okay, it's like, I'll tell you one, I've seen this crazy lady, and you knew she was I should have realized she was crazy because she was trying to be a director for plays and musicals. But she now puts her gender identified as non-binary femme. So it's like, okay, I'm not the male or female binary, but I'm more feminine, like a woman. That's what I'm saying. It's like
so many choices.
But it's like, you know what you are, but somehow you're like, oh, I won't subscribe to the binary, but I know I'm more of a woman, so I will just say I.
Wouldn't it be kind of offensive to say non-binary because you're implying that? I don't know.
But it's saying it's not between the two. All right, don't you know binary? It's just like 0 and 1.
We're treading on
0 and 1 is
some deep water we're treading on right here.
We're not talking about anyone specific to get canceled. God damn it,
we're trying to learn.
We're trying to do better. Do better comedy. We're trying to do better. We're getting this out so we don't do it.
Hang on to that pool
we're trying to do it now so we don't
drown in this bullshit.
We're trying to do it now so we don't do it at Do Better Comedy. Okay, we get it out now so we don't do it there.
This is why I like doing stand-up comedy, so that people don't record shit.
You know what I thought would be funny if at the Do Better show if Jonathan Gerber signed up for it.
Yeah. I like Jonathan Gerber.
I know, but just imagine if he signed up for it.
Well, he wouldn't.
I know he wouldn't, because they'd cut his mic after like his first 2 sentences.
Yeah.
What material could he do at a Do Better mic? Do we know any material Jonathan Gerber can do?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Jonathan should do it. I feel like everyone should try to do it.
No, it's definitely a good thing to do because anyone that wants to be successful at comedy should want to do good in different types of audiences. Like, you should want to do good in front of a dive bar audience, a club audience.
Well, I was just saying, like, you should the only reason why you should feel like you don't belong in the places when they tell you to leave.
Yeah.
Other than that, you try to hit that stage time and be yourself. But until they tell you to stop saying some stuff, then keep saying your shit.
Yeah, or at least what I heard, they, like, ring the bell, Brandy, I guess, will do. Or they'll also contact him after, like, apparently, Matthew Delgado, that happened to him after he had some bit about a homeless person. It's like, yeah, you can't make fun of homeless people unless you've been homeless before. At least there, obviously anywhere else. Because before I went, I didn't know like what the limits were. Like I thought, could I even do a joke about divorce? But then at least when I talked to Jen, it's like, okay, it makes sense, at least how she explained it. And I think it's a good mic, let's say, for someone who maybe thinks like the regular stereotypical open mic crowd's like rowdy or too much for them or too obscene for them. So it's like you go there, you get people that are more, I don't know, I guess not as wild. Not to say, like, they're still funny. They're just not going to be as eccentric.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't gone in a while, but I'd like to do it again. I don't know.
I would too. It's just when I write out kind of my set list, how I do it for a week, because I do the same set during the week just to get a practice through it, and then I have the video to kind of watch through, which I'll do tomorrow. But it's like obviously testing stuff out there should be done.
I just like getting on stage. Getting on stage is fun.
It is, yeah. And obviously if you have that time on 7 o'clock on Monday.
As long as I'm not fearing for my safety, then
I know it's also a place I've realized I've met a lot of people when it's like the first mic they've come into town. Because usually people arrive in on the Monday and it's like, okay, where's the first Monday evening mic?
Yeah. And then there's Devil's Advocate afterwards. Which
they do a good job of promoting it happening. Although I will say, I kind of realize it's a circular loop with how they promote it, because they'll somehow, like, let's say like a local newspaper, it's like, oh, nominate someone you know to be spotlit, and they'll just spotlit like each other in like a circular way. Yeah, it's like, but obviously that's smart on them. And I'm not going to knock that. It's like, if you're smart going out there, even if it's not the type of comedy I would operate or agree with, it's like, you know what? It's like you found kind of a demand and you were able to appeal that. So smart on them. They're definitely smart. If anyone says they're not smart, they're kidding themselves with that. It was smart to do.
Yeah, it's hard for me to comment on it because I haven't been in a while.
No, well, I haven't been there in a while too, and such. It's just the impression I got from it.
You know, also, I didn't even perform there. I went there and then I had something I had to do, so I didn't get to perform.
I thought I've seen something of you like once or twice there, but not.
I went to Bridge, which is like kind of
the Bridge
similar.
One. Oh yeah, but isn't that more the improv thing?
Well, they had open mics, and then
true, they did have
stand-up
open
mics.
Mic. Yeah, but I heard like improv and stuff, which the only thing that interests me about improv is using it to improve crowd work, because you can't say no to a response from an audience member when you ask it.
Oh yeah, for the improv thing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, isn't that like the thing in improv? It's like you can't say no to what someone responds. Like, no, don't say that.
Yeah,
like, you have to go along with how they respond.
Yes, and
it's it's
like it's like, hey, what's up, Batman? Yeah, I'm Batman, and I'm going to bring Robin along.
It's like shut up, Robin, before I slap you. It's like, before I do what I did to you last Friday night.
Well, yeah. Well, I did. So I did improv one time at Bridge, or maybe twice, and
that's probably the reason I couldn't do it. If I improvise, it's gonna be a lot of like physical abuse.
Yeah, I was kind of like doing something like that, which is like not good.
There's gonna be a lot of children and abusive children and animals in my.
You remember like in the Office with Michael Scott? He did improv. And he was improv shooting everyone so that they all died. Like, bam, you're dead. And it was like, he killed everyone. It was just him. I was like, that's not how it works, Michael. We all need to play a part here. You can't just shoot everyone. Yeah.
That's his way around it all. He should have just done his prison mic thing to get around it.
Yeah. So I think that's why people there are so positive all the time, because you can't just kill off the characters. Right? I don't know. Yeah,
but I mean,
which is what I would do. It was like, bam,
just kill them off. It's like, all right, we're done with this act. I guess at least for me, it's more just thinking on the toes and stuff. Because get in those situations, even like a heckler, how to respond to them and such. Just something like being able to say something that equates a funny response, or if it doesn't, you can kind of like just make some assumption for them and.
Yeah.
That's at least how I see it. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't been doing kind of comedy for like, I've only been doing it for 2 to 3 years now.
Because you have any more like
I don't know,
goals, both in like the quality of your work, but also like the kind of like stages you can be on, like any, not like a set goal for that, but at least something. It's like Yeah, that's something I think is attainable, and I can definitely do, let's say, within the 3 to 5 years if I focus and work on it.
Just be on more book shows is always nice to be on, but
just like the book mics or like any.
Yeah, the book mics, right? That's a good thing. I think that's a good sign that you're doing well.
Yeah, well, did you ever get in contact when I told you about the tickle your bone one at Bridget's last
I keep forgetting, man.
All right, yeah.
All right, okay, yeah. Oh. Yeah, all right. I'm also probably not.
Yeah, well, Sean will give you definitely a spot and
tickle your bone.
I mean, he's given people other times like their first opportunity too at this one as well. It's just you got to do it in advance. Like like the spot he'll give you will probably be at least a month in advance.
That's better than nothing.
Oh yeah. It's just like have it down, and it's usually very good just because he'll give you like 7 to 8 minutes, and if you're the final comic, he'll usually give you 10. But it's also more of a non-comic crowd too, so you can test out more both your good stuff and if new stuff would work on these people as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've been kind of focusing on just not caring whether or not I get booked or not, because I'm just trying to figure out how to do the comedy and make it feel good and stuff.
But that's the right idea, because like you're doing that, you're getting more comfortable, you're getting more in a natural flow. So then those opportunities will present itself at that point. And you'll also know like at a point like, oh, I can easily do like 7, 10, like just off the top of my head if you had to.
Man, when I first started doing comedy, my ego was huge, man. Like I remember when Chris Erb, he told me, like, he gave me like a piece of advice a long time ago. It was like, hey man, just, like the question you got to ask yourself is like, are you having fun? And I looked at Chris and I'm like, that makes too much sense. Like, how dare you, like I want to feel like I came up with that shit on my own. Like, I don't know. It's like, you're supposed to have fun, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, fuck this. And I mean, obviously you want to have fun. But now,
well, you should want to enjoy it and such, because it is.
Now I'm like, yeah, I need to have fun.
It is enjoyable. Obviously, to say there's some bad nights where maybe you just deal with a bad crowd or you don't deliver the jokes well, so it's a bomb. And I mean, those aren't enjoyable. But let's say, like in the long run, it's mostly enjoyable. Yeah. And not even just getting to perform, but also seeing others to perform, the different like people you meet, because. I mean, we all have that obviously ingrown with comedy, so like a similar style of humor, how we're willing to joke. Mm-hmm. But it's like no one's really that similar. I don't know where most people even would have encountered each other if it wasn't for comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like, man, once I'm done with school, I was like very unstructured. School was the thing that would structure my life, and then the comedy's here. So comedy.
Do you think it's kind of having, I don't know if it's exactly like a set schedule, but more like certain improvements you make in the week, or let's say with new bits or how you do your comedy, and it's...
Well, I was always trying to evolve my mindset. I was always I focused way more on my deliveries than the actual jokes. I don't know, but so...
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
I need to
talking about.
No, I mean, it's good to talk about like delivery and stuff, because some people, that's why their jokes don't work, because maybe they have a good bit and such, but they deliver it in such a boring fashion, or like you're more like what rather than laughing at it.
Yeah, like things like looking at the audience, not looking down.
Yeah, well, the one I try to do with the audience is like, let's say what like the back of the room is. Like, just pay attention to, like, the line in the back of the room. Just, like, those people there. Yeah, like, just...
But,
or
yeah,
you don't even have... You don't have to, like, even say anything, like, towards them. It's, like, just, like, look there. Because then it's, like, you're not looking at anyone super close. Very weird. Because have you ever had that when someone's on stage and they're doing their bits and they just keep staring at you for a while?
Yeah. That was weird. I've had that before where you're at an open mic. And, in the past, I'm, like, super fucking loud. And I'm, like, yelling and stuff. But sometimes it's, like, not in a way where people are, like, freaking out about it. They're, like, looking at you like you're at a TED Talk. And you're performing at a TED Talk. But they're not laughing, but they're just, like, paying attention. It's like, I guess it's not that bad. They're not ignoring you, but there's no laughing going on.
I've thought of something about that, making a bit about that when I see people like that, and it's like observing it, and it's like, now I know how this so-and-so dictator felt when all the people were paying attention to him speak.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking, it's like, now I know how Hitler felt at the Reichstag when he was telling everyone, he was trying to command everyone, you all pay attention to me. Or Gaddafi when he went over his 15 minutes allotted at the UN General Assembly to speak and spoke for about an hour and a half.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be a My Gaddafi musical when I create it. It's going to be like the musical Hamilton, but about Gaddafi.
Libya? Is that what
Yes. That's where, the Libyan dictator.
No, didn't he pass away?
Yeah, he did. He got sodomized. He got sodomized to death with a knife.
Passed away like he's like someone who should.
Yeah, of old age. No, he got sodomized to death in like the middle of the desert.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't.
Imagine being sodomized to death with a knife as your way of dying out, and that is why that will be the end scene of my musical.
Oof, man.
That will be also the only one where he's not in like that like a soldier uniform, like that military general outfit that he normally wore.
Yeah.
It's just my thoughts in my head. I know I'm trying to make a bit about that, kind of like asking people if they like Hamilton. Like, I will create one. It's about the greatest dictator ever, Gaddafi. Like how he was afraid of the ocean water because he almost drowned as a kid, or he had that green book which talked about like stuff like even interplanetary travel for some reason. I don't know why.
Damn.
But yeah, or having that Pan Am flight, whatever, 93 over Lockerbie, Scotland, get bombed.
Oh my God. That sounds like you should make a board game out of all that.
Well, I was just like learning about him, and it just sounded hilarious, this stuff.
Yeah.
I know there was also other dictators, like apparently Saddam. He wrote his own love novel, or like a romantic novel.
I can see that.
But it's like only in Farsis and I guess Japanese.
In Japanese?
I guess someone's translated it from Farsis to Japanese, but no one sent like a Farsi to English, unfortunately.
Man.
I would love that.
Wait, what was the explanation for why the Japanese and Germany band together in World War II?
Oh, because, I mean, they were fighting, I guess they were fighting against the Allied powers, which obviously at that time was like UK, US, and Russia.
Okay, yeah.
And so probably it related more to Russia. Well, with the thing with, I guess, Japan, yeah, they were there. And obviously before.
It was like a strictly political thing, or?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a mutual.
Yeah, because, I mean, the Axis powers, that was Italy, Japan, and Germany.
Damn. So, yeah, it's weird how Japan might enter. Okay.
Yeah, well, like historically, like you look at Japan, like how they are as a country. If they were any country now, they would not be as much relevance based on their size. But because they were an island nation, to invade it for a while, the only way to do that would be by boat. And unfortunately, they can start firing at you while you were trying to come over on boat.
I thought I heard something like, Japan was like having a fear of like European powers taking over the place.
They could have. They may have thought stuff with Russia would have expanded.
Yeah, so then they sided with Germany, or Nazi Germany.
Yeah, they got convinced.
Man, this is a lot of textbook information here.
We need to know about Mr. Hirohito and Hitler and Mussolini.
So you just read about this today, or?
No, it's, I mean, stuff I remember learning about with history, just...
Like in school?
Yeah, but you also think, let's say, geographically and such. Like how Russia, how expansive it was. And it's, I'm sure they felt threatened Japan. But also, obviously, after World War II, then like Russia then kind of pushed away from England and the U.S.
You saying Russia feels threatened? Well, I don't think Russia's threatened. How can Russia feel threatened? It's a huge country. And
you mean World War II, or?
Yeah, because they live in an ice fortress.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, most people live in obviously the European side. Like their Asian side is pretty much nothing. But obviously, yeah, I mean, cold as hell. I don't know. It's because they're kind of like isolated, but they're huge.
Yeah. Siberia.
Yeah,
Great
they
destination for vacation.
They made up those
Siberia 2003.
They had those gulags. They had the prisoners build them as the ones. Those are really the only reason cities are built out there in Siberia.
Why?
Because of like the prisoners in gulags having to like build them up.
Man, that's fucked up, man.
Just like Chikobu saying, "Man, that's fucked up."
If you're Inuit, you're like, "Hey, man, that's a nice location."
Well, you think about like the other countries they invaded near them, like the ones near, like they try to integrate a lot of Russians into those places. So, and obviously those places have conflicts now because it's like there's the Russian ethnic population and then the native population.
Man, we're talking about so much stuff I have no firsthand knowledge of.
This is about Kazakhstan and how they raised their fuel prices and they started bombing the police trucks.
Maybe I need to stop saying I'm not going to go visit. Let's go to Russia.
It would be, dude, comedy in Russia would be fun.
And China. Let's go to China. Let's go to Shanghai,
well, I don't think
Beijing.
it would be fun in China.
You don't think it would be fun?
Well, I think they'd be censoring you a little more. Or Russia,
well,
I feel you can get away with it unless the government finds out about it.
Well, do you have anything to say besides government? They could make fun of the food.
Well, yeah.
I feel like you could make fun of Chinese
but I feel
food.
like they would take that as like a personal thing on the country.
Then there's okay. If you can't make fun of food, then you're saying that you can't make fun of anything.
Andy, you need to.
Food is the most safe subject of all time.
Andy, we needed to have you speak about this at the United Nations General Assembly meeting to get these countries that are very autocratic to open up their freedom of speech laws and allow comedy, especially when it's about food. God damn it!
I think if you go to China and like try to do comedy like in Chinese or like in Mandarin or whatever, given who you are and you're born and raised in America, and if you try to do a Chinese language, then you might have an accent, and that might make it funny. It's because like, oh, it's an American guy doing Chinese.
Or what if it's as good as like John Cena's Mandarin?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like that. And so maybe just that alone would be like, wow, this guy's funny. Look at the way he talks. Isn't it like they
just get more impressed that someone that isn't like native is able to learn the language because they know it's such a hard language to learn?
Yeah.
That's what I've heard is about. They're just more like, oh my gosh, someone actually knows the language.
Yes, I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah, or at least someone that doesn't look like they'd be from here knows the language.
Yeah.
I'm
trying.
John Seaman, 你的胃细小
I don't.
坏了吗？
生气快乐。
哎呀
Oh my god.
I remember hearing that. I heard that was like their version of oh shit.
Yeah, I know that's definitely like Cantonese thing. I don't know man.
Okay, that makes more sense then. Probably the people where I was in.
Sometimes I'm afraid of being.
I'm trying to think. Is Canton? It's probably more of like the South, kind of like.
I feel uncomfortable being like the spokesperson of Asian shit.
We're talking about. Okay, we could talk about Vietnam or something.
No.
Okay, fine.
No. Okay,
let's talk about Africa then. We want to talk about Africa. We want to talk about. Do we want to talk about these Instagram channels I found of these people in Abu Dhabi who have private zoos and they show off these lions going on in their Rolls Royce limos?
What?
Follow.
What, Gaddafi?
Who might... No, this is the United Arab Emirates.
Thing.
Is it, okay, yeah, wait, so Kit, isn't it more of a language, I guess, like in the South, like where, like, Shanghai, like Hong Kong, like it's more of a thing towards there they use. Yeah. I learned about the whole, actually, I guess the language thing, because I used to think it was Mandarin more of a like city thing and then Cantonese more of a countryside thing, but it's actually, I guess, more just Cantonese is like the South more. Well,
Cantonese is like based off of Canton, which used to be like the main city. I don't know. Yeah.
There's all the different.
I just remember like the story is that like I don't know, it was like 1950 or whatever. Like when China was starting to solidify as a nation, they're like, okay, let's vote on an official language. What's going to be the official language? And it was obviously Mandarin and Cantonese were in the running, and some other ones. And apparently it was like Cantonese lost by like 1% or something like that.
It was very slim, so it must have been very regional based.
Yeah. Well, Cantonese is like basically the second most popular Chinese language.
Oh yeah, but isn't it? I mean, it's like very similar to each other. There's just different inflections in different words.
Yeah, basically. It's so weird. I think it's so weird because this Chinese language, the when you write it, it's like it's pretty much universal to anyone who I don't fucking know, man.
It's like, I mean, it's so hard to learn the language because
everyone. If you ask someone about Chinese language, everyone's gonna have a different thing to say about it. I feel like, but
probably yeah. Well, I've thought of like maybe to learn those other languages. The easiest way might be to, let's say, whatever those language learning things they use for kids.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
or even like their like learning material and such. Because it's like that's just very basic. Like they teach like kids and such, and so it's like you start learning that stuff, you can learn at least the basic steps. Yeah. At least that's what I've thought I've learned with that. Either that or you watch like a TV show you know really well, but find it like dubbed in the other language, and that's how you can really. Yeah. I did that with the Simpsons with Italian to try to learn it a little better as well, because you can find it in so many languages.
Yeah. It's just like, man, if you don't take official Chinese classes or whatever on how to learn the language, then what else do you have besides
I remember
Wikipedia?
Taking it in 7th grade. I did horrible.
Well, they didn't have it. I'm just, it's so, because like the written language is like the most, it's so different from everything else. It's not like other languages where it's still like the Latin alphabet. It's like, dude, this thing.
Yeah, it's not like alphabetized. There's like a different way it's all categorized.
Well, like Japanese and Korean is like way easier, in my opinion, than Chinese. Because Chinese is like, there is literally, it's by nature, the Chinese written language has an infinite amount of characters. By definition, it's like infinite amount of characters. Like so
even just like how new words are, let's say, created throughout all time.
It's like Google versus Apple. Apple is a closed system. Like English is a closed language system, as in there's A, B, C, D, E, F, like A to Z. In Korean and Japanese, they have a set amount of things that you write out. In English, in Chinese, it's an open system, so you can literally create new characters if you want.
Yeah, well, I was saying like if there was like new words with us, we would have to use the 26 letters we already have. Where you're saying in China, because with their language they'd be able to, it's something completely new. It's not like they add on prefixes and suffixes and that creates what the symbol would look like.
Well, what do you mean by new? I mean, it's definitely
like a new word
language.
Like we're talking about like I don't know, like Instagram.
Yeah,
you would spell Instagram with 26 letters here, but I don't know how you spell Instagram in Mandarin.
Well, it's definitely they'll just say Instagram because.
But how would you write it?
I'm just saying, like, I think when you're, if you grew up in China, then you look at the English language and the English alphabet. It's like, dude, I could totally tackle this because it's only 26 letters here.
Then you learn about our grammar and you're like, oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Why do you have 3 different theirs?
Yeah.
Don't ask us why.
So, like, I think the speaking part is much, I don't fucking.
But isn't it like most like I feel like it's the reading and writing that takes a while. It's because it's easier us, I guess, to recognize the sounds when we just hear them.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, if you grew up in China, you're surrounded by Chinese people. I'm sure, like, for them, it's just like, dude,
true.
This just comes natural. Like,
to be honest, that probably is the best way to learn a new language. Is like you have
to be
immersed.
It is.
Oh yeah, because
the best way to do stand-up comedy is to just go up and show up and do it. And the same way with learning language, just got to be around people who do it.
Same thing. But I think the first thing with like comedy, and maybe we're circling it back to this, it's people that take a while to do the first time. They're trying to set it up. It's like, oh, like all the situations got to be right. It's like, no. When you do an open mic, it's not going to be enjoyable the first few times. It's not going to, well, maybe it's enjoyable, but it's not going to be pretty. All right. Don't try to bring your friends there to give you some fake laughs because they just know who you are. Okay.
Yeah. I think.
No.
What happened?
No. It didn't go out, did it?
What were you talking about? None of them went out?
No, the recording No, it's fine. I'll bring it back up. It should be fine. Oh, it's because the computer itself. All right. Well, I think we had reached an hour or something. Oh, darn it.
Oh.
Oh, well. Well, this was an advantageous. And actually, let me get my charger for it now. And actually, we can continue it. Although, we'll cut it at this part.
What happened?
Oh, it took battery power from here.
Oh.
And it got to low level.
Yeah,
That's
that
why.
might
Because
be-
I saw it just went out. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, because we only. All right, we back. That was just sorry about that. We'll just get the last out of the way. What about 5-10 minutes? So we were talking about the
Testing.
first time people do. Oh yeah, it's back.
Okay, cool.
The settings are always left on the same from previous, but it's what was I saying? Like the first time people do comedy, it's not going to be beautiful. It's not going to be great. Don't get those people to give you the fake laughs and stuff. You have to do bad because I'm sure just as you, the beginning definitely was not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not amazing. And even now, I'm going to like look back probably in a year or two and think even what I'm doing now was pretty god awful. But that just means that I've improved over time.
Yeah, just keep doing it. That's what I hear is like the advice that my favorite comedians will say. It's like just keep doing it and get that stage time.
Yeah.
And it's like, in my opinion, it's like the things that make sense are the things that are not complicated. Like truth is simple. You know, you don't have to take all these complicated classes telling you how to be funny.
Oh yeah, God.
Just go on stage and get the experience, because that's what stand-up comedy is about. Unlike other art forms, it's all about performing.
You can only do it in front
Trial
of
and
others.
error. That's the whole point of stand-up comedy. It's like a trial and error art.
You can only do it in front of others.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way to like wait later and it's like or practice before you come and actually get it down.
Yeah.
Not like when you do music or such or
It's like I'd rather be the guy who goes on stage and bomb horribly than be the guy who perfected his craft perfectly in front of the mirror. You know?
Oh yeah.
Because if you do that in front of the mirror, like that's not the same thing.
Now if you never stop bombing, then you need to go look at yourself in the mirror at that point.
Yeah. Well,
If
wait,
it
what?
keeps going bad. But
Yeah, if it keeps
obviously
going bad, yeah.
people they do better over time because I'm sure over you realize over time you're bombing less, or at least you have less points where you're doing bad or less new jokes aren't bouncing off.
Yeah, that's like a major thing. Is like if you keep doing the mics, then you gotta write new jokes. You have to.
Yeah, over time. Yeah.
I mean, I heard there was like this one comic. He's like a new comic. He just came in from another state, and he said he did comedy in New York for a while, and is like, so the greats will go to the open mics in New York, and they'll just keep hitting them up like every day, and it forces them to write all the time. And the whole point is just to continue to write all the time.
And the ones that are doing that, they also really enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Like they.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, somebody, I guess, who can be an example is Dave Attell, because Dave isn't trying to do it for clout chasing reasons. He just really likes to do comedy. Yeah. Or even like now with Dave Chappelle, how he technically can just live off the royalties from the Chappelle show now. And he has that giant, whatever, like 50-some acre property in Ohio, wherever he is, in some tiny town. And he can do like a pop-up show whenever he wants with a friend, or like his huge show he's doing like at the Hollywood, whatever that Hollywood amphitheater.
Yeah, that big one. Yeah.
Or the Hollywood Bowl, I guess is technically. But it's just like, and he could just do that whenever I know he's going to sell it. It's just like, Like, I mean, that would be, obviously that's the pinnacle to go to, but they obviously like did many, many decades and such. And even that, it's about, let's say, because I feel all of us doing it, we all have, let's say, the potential. It's just, are you going to put in the work for it? And will you also be ready when those opportunities present itself?
Yeah. I kind of feel like stand-up comedy is like the main thing that stand-up comedy gives you is not the career or anything. It's like the connections and stuff. Like from stand-up comedy, you could do a lot of things. Like you go into acting, the movies, or you could collaborate with people who happen to be YouTubers or now TikTokers and all that sort of thing, right? Because like open mic or just comedy places, they're just like a nice breeding ground for people who want to do like performing arts and all that stuff, or just art in general.
Yeah, or at least for me, because I had done it in high school more the performing arts, the plays, musicals. This was a better thing for me to go into because I didn't like doing a script. I'd like to go off and be so crude and talk about the horrors I've learned in life because that's more fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can end it off with that. I just needed to get those last few minutes. But thank you so much for coming by, Andy. I don't know if you want to promote anything of yours, people, but I swear if you'll get your comedy boater on if you go see Andy Chung.
Yeah. Come see me. I don't have any shows at the moment. We're trying to figure it out. Something got postponed.
There's 100% rate of if you bring a date to a show with Andy Chung and you see him perform that your date is going to want to suck you off later in the night. There's 100% success rate. I don't know how many for how many, but he has 100% success rate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I should be on the next First Friday mic thing, but yeah. You can follow me. My Instagram is Andy Chung Dude. So
Andy Chung Dude. Follow him on Instagram with that. Keep him around in the valley or if he comes to your area. And also if you feel a need to put a lot of explosive fertilizer into a Toyota Tundra, do it.